Welcome back. It's Merry Maniacs. It's the Mandalorian episode 7, and it came out early this week or last week or whenever we're going to be posting this. When it ever came out, it came out early, which was a Wednesday rather than a Friday.
Well, it came out early on Disney Plus because they wanted to get it out before The Rise of Skywalker came out.
We were both wondering why. It was like, is Mandalorian going to show up in the movie? Is Baby Yoda going to show up in the movie? What's going to happen? Why is there going to be a connection between this and the movie? Actually, yes, there was a connection between this and the new film.
But we're not going to give it away because if you haven't seen the new film and if you haven't seen the new film, well, we can't give it away. We can't tell you what exactly was the connection. But The Mandalorian Chapter 7. I mean, wow. Wow.
Yeah, wow. This is, leading up to, obviously, the last one, Chapter 8. And I was hoping they were going to bring it, I was really hoping they were going to bring it big in this episode, like they did last one, and they did. They brought it, and they brought it big in this episode. It never stopped. It was great, just like the last episode, but this one is even better because it kind of went back to the story. I mean, he wasn't just out bounty hunter in this movie. He actually went back to the plot from the first one that has been going throughout the whole series, and this went back to it. And wow, like you said, it was phenomenal.
It was freaking fantastic, and I'm so glad that they went back, and it made sense that they went back to how he goes back. He goes back to the planet where he was going to leave Baby Yoda off to get Cara Dune. And she comes back into this. And then he goes back to the original planet that Baby Yoda was on to get Quill. Now that we all know his name.
And we were kind of wondering, but he is an Ugnaught, because it's the first time they actually mentioned him being an Ugnaught in the show.
Yeah, well, I knew he was an Ugnaught, but, I mean, I knew that. But, David takes a little time to catch up.
Well, no, I mean, you've never seen an old Ugnaught before. I mean, he don't look like the Ugnaughts that are in Empire Strikes Back. He doesn't look nothing like those, really.
What?
I think he did. But I also think he looks a little more like Nick Nolte.
I have spoken.
So we get back to the original story here in episode 7 here, and I love that. I thought that was great to see what was going to happen next, and we get introduced to some of the, like you said, some of the characters have been throughout this whole episode, and they did bring, I don't want to give any spoilers because if those haven't seen it yet, or who haven't watched it yet, which I don't know how many people that is, but they do bring back some of the characters in this, and I like what they did with the one character, which I can't mention. It's really cool what they did with that character, and I think that character is going to be really big, if you know what I'm talking about, throughout the rest of this season, the one episode anyway, and the rest of the season.
Wow. I mean, and plus they introduced a character that I had actually seen images, like I said, before this came out, I did see some images of it. I saw the first trailer for it and everything, and they kind of showed this guy. This is one guy they kept flashing on there. I don't know how to explain him. He has to do with the Empire. Let's put it that way.
He's actually the Chicken Man.
What?
Etch, draw that man in a chicken suit. It's the Chicken Man!
Well, if you ever watched Breaking Bad, Vince, he was the main bad guy in Breaking Bad. He was Chicken Man.
Oh, okay. Well, I never did. So
I know you did not, but he is a great actor. He is a phenomenal actor that was in the Breaking Bad, the best show ever on television. And he was Chicken Man, and now he returns. I don't know what his character. See, I kind of thought he was going to be in the movie. I don't know why. They introduced him. I was like, oh, I bet he's going to be in the movie somehow. But he wasn't.
Okay, well, you just spoiled that.
Well, I'm not getting spoiled away. I'm just saying he's not in the movie.
Anyway, the one thing I wanted to mention especially about this episode, is that all the way, and I meant to have been talking about this anyway, but throughout the entire season here, whenever they showed stormtroopers in this series, the stormtroopers are actually played by the real 501st Legion. That's who actually, they got the actual 501st guys, all these costumed fans that have been fans of Star Wars forever, and now they're actually in the show. And every time you see stormtroopers come into this, they're actual, you know, the 501st Legion, the 501st fans that have been doing their cosplays forever, and now they're in this show. And that's so awesome that they did that. They actually went to those guys and said, hey, would you mind, you know, stepping in and being stormtrooper? And they were like, sure, where do you need us? You know, it was like instantly. Yeah.
So I didn't know that. I mean, I haven't looked at or read or know anything about the show, so I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, even when it comes up in the credits, it says like, thank you, 501st Legion.
I want to talk about the stormtroopers in here. They look great. I love how their armor is dirty and filthy, and they got grime all over them, and because obviously nobody's there to polish them up. They don't have that room where they got that, you know, rag and spit and get that helmet real clean. Now they don't have that. They're all filthy and disgusting in this movie, and they look great.
Yeah, basically all left over from what happened in Return of the Jedi. So
they actually had two of my favorite stormtroopers in this film, and that's the speeder bike troopers. Is that what they call them? What do they call them?
Biker Scouts.
They're like my favorite looking storm. I don't know why, but I just love the look of the Biker Scouts. They just have the coolest look to them. They got like the visor and the helmet and I don't know, they're just really awesome looking. And of course, they got the speeder bikes, which I also love. It was really awesome to see them in this show too. It was really great.
Yeah, I love seeing those guys in here. To have them back in, and then they also showed. I don't remember which trooper this actually is, because there's two kinds of them, and they're both all in black. And one of them is the Death Troopers from Rogue One, and that might have been these guys. But I also heard someone mention that they could have been Shadow Troopers, which came from one of the Star Wars video games. I forget which one, but I don't know. But anyway, they have those guys in there, and that was pretty cool to see them in there, and have kind of a better role than if they were the Death Troopers. Well, better role than what they had in Rogue One, actually. And even though they didn't do much, but I mean, it was better to see them in here than that.
And they also, again, without giving too much stuff away, had new monsters and stuff in here too. Stuff that you never saw before. Really cool stuff too. And the last probably 20 minutes of the show, 15-20 minutes of the show, you were on your edge of your seat. You really were. I mean, they built up the suspense to just, unlike any other show yet in this series, episode 7 actually built up that suspense in this film, in this show, up until the very end, and it ended on a cliffhanger. Now, imagine, Vince, if this was episode 8, and you had to wait until next year to find out what happened, I would have fallen on the floor. I would have like, oh my God, I really would. I would have been so mad.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't end it here, and they could have, considering that, you know, they were trying to get this out before Rise of Skywalker, but they probably could have ended it here. But I'm glad that they're not. I'm glad that there's going to be a next, you know, chapter to this. But I'm sure with that chapter, it's going to be ending somewhat like this. Like all of a sudden, it's like, okay, now you have to wait a year.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that. I'm wondering if they're going to end it with a cliffhanger or not. I mean, I hope they don't, but I also hope they do, because that way it'll make you want to see what happens. But I hate that. I don't want to have to wait another year, because this really would have been a great ending. I mean, even though I would have been really mad about this ending, it would have been a great ending. Everybody would have just went, oh my God, I can't believe this, and it would have been great. But they didn't do it, and I'm kind of glad they didn't do it. And at the same time, I'm just like, oh, you know, it would have been a cool ending.
But these last two chapters here have been like, they've been so good, and with that ending, it's been almost like early on when we started reviewing this, I was talking about Karate Kid or Cobra Kai, and how I would sit there with Cobra Kai. I mean, it's like literally I'd binge watch Cobra Kai as soon as it comes out. It's like I can't stop watching it. I have to see the next episode. This one did that for me. It's like now I cannot wait to see chapter 8. So I've been kind of missing that in this series a little bit, not too much. I mean, yeah, I kind of want to see the next one, but this one I want to see the next one, and that's what's kind of been missing in the series, but not really. But I'm glad it's here, and I really want to see the next chapter. But like I said, I think they're going to probably do it like that and leave it off with a cliffhanger to season 2. Which is fine. I'll deal with it because I'm going to watch season 2 regardless. So,
you know what they've been doing with this show, Vince, and I don't know if I said this in any of these reviews yet, but this has pretty much saved Star Wars. The Mandalorian has single-handedly, I think, brought all the Star Wars fans together. Although all those Star Wars fans who, you know, were on the fence about all the new trilogy and didn't like this one or like that one and hated this one and didn't like that. It just seems like this series has brought them all together. And we're all fans again. We're all fans of Star Wars because of The Mandalorian. And because of that, this is one of the best shows, the best things that could ever happen to Star Wars.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with all that. I mean, I'm elated that the fans are enjoying it. Because finally, it's fans are enjoying it and not sitting there with like they do with the movies and just almost instantaneously after they see a trailer, oh, it's going to be crap, it's going to be crap, it's going to be crap. I'm so tired of that, and just I'm so over all of that, just constant hate on things. And of course, this is a series that we've enjoyed for over 40 years. And to see this much enthusiasm for it again, and to get it revived like that, I'm elated about it. I'm glad that fans are going toward it.
Yeah, I think it's like I said, it's saved Star Wars. I mean, it literally has brought the fans back to the franchise who left and after Return of the Jedi and never even went through the first 3, I don't think, movies or the last 3 movies, or people who are angry about all those films. It seems like I've never really talked to anybody who doesn't like The Mandalorian. It's like when I say something, oh yeah, that was an awesome episode, wasn't it? That's great. And the other really big thing about this is I don't have to worry about going to see it at the show. I don't have to worry about walking past a TV and hearing, oh, this is horrible, this is dumb, all the critics hate it. You know, you can actually enjoy it now for what it is. And you can just turn it on and watch it without any spoilers about what's going to happen, for the most part anyway. I mean, that's what I'm really enjoying. I'm enjoying it because of that, and because it's a great story, and it's Star Wars. It is actually Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars, it looks like Star Wars, it's Star Wars.
You know, my brother has been watching this with me, and he's a Star Wars, longtime, diehard Star Wars fan, just like me and Dave are. And he's seen the movies from 1977 till now, so he's been all the way through it as well. And yes, in the last few years with the new trilogy and the spin-offs and everything, he hasn't really felt like those were Star Wars. For him, they just don't feel like Star Wars for him. This show feels like Star Wars for him, and he said that. He said at first, when he first watched the first couple episodes, or at least the first episode, he was like, I don't know where this is going to go. But by the third one, he was like, I can't wait to see the next one. And then by the next one, he was like, I can't wait to see the next. He's been definitely engrossed in this series, and I'm glad to see that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great series. And this episode is probably, I said the last episode was my favorite. This one is my favorite, and it also gets the bomb.
Yeah, I don't think I have to really put it out there, but I'm going to anyway. It's the bomb!
It's still great. I mean, I don't have any issues with this series. I love it. I cannot wait until Friday to find out how this thing's going to end. I'm more excited about this than I have ever been for any of the Star Wars movies, actually the new ones that have come out. That's how excited I am about this series. I just love it. There's nothing about it. I just love it.
I love it. I love it too because it's got a little bit of the Force in there, but it doesn't it doesn't dwell on it. It's not all around that necessarily. So it's got somewhat of a connection to the films in that respect as well, but it's not all about the films. So it's like it's very much part of Star Wars, but it's on its own at the same time, and I've loved that part of it. So I can't wait to see Chapter 8.
Well, I'm saying I really hope Episode 8 brings it. I mean, the last 2 episodes have brought it, so I really hope it brings it, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the finale of this show that I've absolutely... It has made me a Star Wars fan all over again, and I can't wait to find out what happens.
Yeah, yeah. So what you guys got to do, of course, is subscribe and hit the like button and hit the little bell up there so you know when we post things, and give us some comments and feedback and all that kind of stuff. And we will join you real soon here for The Mandalorian Chapter 8. So it'll be up real soon, and see you all later. May the Force be with you.